Hey guys, it's Siobhan with Kitty and Beyond. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here with an energy update for the first time in a long time. So thank you for your patience for those of you who are here for energy updates specifically. I know my channel is kind of scattered between energy updates and readings and random other things that I feel like posting about. So we're coming up on Mars retrograde, or we are in it right now. I'm not sure. I'm not an astrologer, but I'm talking about it specifically because I've been seeing symbols for fire everywhere. And for those of you who saw the story that I posted a few days ago, I was trying to take off my nail polish on my toes to repaint them, and the gel polish I had on was really hard to get off with the nail polish remover that I had, and it was making these interesting patterns. And I stepped back and I kind of looked at them, and one of them looked like flames or fire, and the other one looked like a Buddha or a Jesus in sort of that sitting praying position. So I thought that was really interesting, and I just felt like sharing that to see if, it meant something to anybody or if you saw what I saw. And since that day, I've been seeing fire and the fire symbols everywhere. So like driving down the highway, I see a truck that has a fire symbol on the side or a picture of fire on the side. And everywhere I go on Instagram, even I'm seeing images of fire all the time. So this is, could be coincidence, but I don't believe in coincidence, right? So this is a synchronistic event. This is symbols that are coming about for the purpose of recognition of what fire represents. So fire is connected with the planet Mars. It's also symbolically connected to transformation. So fire is purifying. Fire is also destructive. It really allows us that opportunity for transformation. When we destroy something, we are able then to create something new. So when, for example, a fire destroys a forest, the remaining ashes and sediment and whatnot can be a really great place for a new forest to grow up out of. So this is kind of, I feel like, what's happening now for the period that Mars is in retrograde. I believe it's a month or two. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you're an astrologer, please post the actual dates in the comments below. I probably could have looked this up, but again, I'm always very spontaneous, and if I feel like I need to say something, I need to say it right now. So forgive me for that. Either way, the point is that we're going through transformation. We're going through a big energetic overhaul right now, I feel, and I've seen a lot of other people pulling back, social media and on posting and things like that, which is exactly what I did for the last, give or take 4 months. So this is a common theme I'm seeing in the collective now, and I'm seeing it within myself as well. So pulling back and then kind of transforming the self, and then kind of going back out and sharing what has come from that, or just really allowing the self the space and the time to be able to do that destructive and healing work, because destruction and healing kind of go hand in hand. You have to destroy the dysfunctional, or that's not a good way of putting it. You have to allow the trauma to be burned away. You have to look at the past, whether it's past lives or it's past from this life, whatever the case is, we need to look at it with the light of awareness, which can provide the first steps in transforming. So awareness is always the first and most important step. If we're not aware of it, then we can't change it. Subconsciously, things need to be brought into the light, right? So the subconscious is the dark, the conscious mind is the light. So we bring them up into the light so that we can understand it, and so that we can actually do something about it. So taking action is the most important step. And when it comes to creating new experiences that will allow for transformation to take place, this does take some level of action. And sometimes the action is doing nothing. Sometimes the action is just being. Sometimes the action is just feeling, or observing the feelings and the thoughts. all of these things are still considered actions because there's conscious choice that goes into them. So this is a really great opportunity for transformation for the collective. I know that there's a lot going on in the collective right now. There's a lot of things that are coming to the surface for healing, for this purpose of transformation. So we have this fire available to us. Fire can feel painful. Fire does feel painful. If you hold your finger over a flame of a candle, it's going to hurt. So the key is to somewhat embrace that pain and allow it to transform us with the trust and the faith that we're going to make it out of those flames. So I actually used this analogy with a client the other day. It came through, clairvoyantly or intuitively, where she was being shown these flames in front of her, and the flames represented the fear. And the faith and the courage was what was going to allow her to move through those flames. So if she tried to touch the flames without the courage, without the faith, without the trust, she would get burned and she would pull back, and that fear would be affirmed to her, right? It confirmed that, you don't touch that, you don't go there. And so it was creating this barrier in front of her that she wasn't able to move through with her actions in her daily life. So they were saying, use courage, use fear, use trust as a shield to protect you. It creates this barrier around your body energetically as well as metaphorically to be able to move through those flames in a way that you may not be 100% unscathed, but you made it to the other side and you didn't die. You know what I mean? So not that there's a physical chance of dying here, but you survived mentally, spiritually, physically. All of those aspects are one. And it's being able to have the trust and the faith to move through the fear, to move through the pain, to move through the suffering. And I feel like that's what humanity is doing at a large scale right now. We're moving through the suffering. So there may be increased amounts of pain. There may be battle. There may be conflict. Whether it's internally or externally, oftentimes it's both, because whatever we're going through internally can usually be seen at a grand scale. The micro becomes the macro becomes the micro. It's all just a reflection, and who's to say where it starts. So I also think that there's been a lot of support. I feel that there has been a lot of support. I didn't make an energy update on this before, but in the past couple of weeks before I started seeing the flame symbols, I was seeing rainbows. And I posted a little bit about that on my Instagram, but it wasn't like a big thing. So the rainbows represent, to me anyway, first and foremost, equality, because I think that's a pretty good representation that's used, with that rainbow archetype. But at the spiritual level, it's equality in a grander sense, in the macro sense. So it's not just equality between the sexes or between genders or between gender preferences or between races. It's also equality between energetic frequencies. So each color of the rainbow holds a certain frequency. Each color holds a vibration, and we are essentially that living rainbow. So, if you were to look through the eyes of, through the third eye, really, through the eyes of energy, you would see that you look like a walking rainbow. You're a vertical rainbow. So the chakras are those energy centers that resonate at those certain frequencies, or vibrate at those frequencies of the color ray. So we have red in the root chakra, orange in the sacral, yellow in the solar, green in the heart, and so on and so forth, up through the chakras to violet at the crown. So we've got all of these aspects, and I've seen people clairvoyantly with my ability to see the energy, which, by the way, everyone can do. You just have to discover how you do that. And I actually made a video on energy, how to see energy 101 or something like that. It's a long way back in my history, though. So if you want to dig for it, feel free. Actually, I'll try to link it here Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll link it as a card up above in the right corner there. And but it's going to be individual for everybody. But what I saw is essentially that we are walking rainbows. We look like this color spectrum, and with balls of light or energy waves, or, with the whole spectrum of the whole energy body being encompassed by all these different colors, and they change, and they're malleable, and depending on your mood and your soul vibration and all of these different aspects, it can be, very unique. It's a very unique color palette for each individual person, but ultimately we have all of them, and we are all the same in that way. We're unique in other ways, but in that way, we're all the same. We all have all of those colors within us. We all have all of those energies within us. And what we do with them is up to us. How we work with those frequencies, how we work with those thoughts, how we work with those beliefs, how we work with those principles is very unique to us, our journey, and what we're going through, each individual. And as a collective, it still has weight, right? We're going through collective themes just as much as we're going through individual themes. So there's a lot of support here energetically. The rainbows representing that support of all aspects of the energy that we're working through right now, and the holistic or unified energy. The unified energy being love. The unified energy being oneness, Christ consciousness, unconditional love, whatever you want to call it, whatever name you want to put on it. It's essentially that source of where all energy originates from, which is that source of consciousness. That is where we come from. It's what we are, and it's where we will return to, although we've never left it. So I think that's all I wanted to say for today. If you guys have any additional information that you'd like to share, please share it in the comments below so that other people can benefit. Thank you so much for being here, for supporting the channel, for supporting my work, for listening. Even if you don't agree, thank you for listening. And I appreciate your presence. I appreciate your energy, and I appreciate all of the work that each and every single one of you has been putting in to yourself and to healing the collective. And first and foremost, that happens with healing the self. So thank you for that. And if you'd like to book a session with me, all of the information will be in the description box below. I love you guys. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.